everyone. I'm here today. I'm going to do a video. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I did have COVID at the beginning of the year and I had it really badly. I ended up in hospital, one of the unfortunate ones, and I did end up in ICU, which is intensive care, and on a ventilator. I was in hospital for 44 days, but what the hospital did do, they kept a diary for me, like this. This is the diary they sent me afterwards, and they've written in what they do to you each day. The nurses in ICU, they work 12-hour shifts, so you've got a day shift and a night shift, and they've written in the diary what they've done to me on the day shift and on the night shift. But before we go into them, I just want to do an introduction, how I caught it, what happened to me, and how I ended up in ICU. I believe I caught it at work. Now I work at Manchester Airport and I transfer people from the planes to the terminals and from the terminals to planes. But with this COVID being here, it was very quiet and we were just moving people from planes to the terminals. And we have to search our bus afterwards. Now I think I've probably caught it searching the bus afterwards, to handrails and everything people have touched coming in from different countries. That's where I believe I caught it. I'm not going to say it did and I'm not going to say it didn't, but that's where I believe I caught it. And my last day of work was Boxing Day. Boxing Day, I think. And then I finished Boxing Day and I was furloughed. And I came home and I was fine, no problems. Right up to New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve I started to feel a bit shivery, shaky. And I thought, God, I'm coming down with flu here. And the next day I really started to feel bunged up and that. I still had my smell, I still had my taste. So I didn't think anything about COVID at the time. Then the next day was really, really bad. I was shivering, but I was sweating. And I'm thinking, I've got flu. I really have got flu. And that's where a lot of people, I think, link this with flu. And anyway, I went to bed and I was on paracetamols, just taking them, trying to get rid of it, like you do. And then it was about the 2nd of January, and I thought, I need to go for a test. I really do need to go for a test. And I pushed myself to go out, and I was shivering and shaking, but I went out and you got to stay in your car, and I did this test. Anyway, the next day it come back and it was positive. And I was absolutely dumbstruck, couldn't believe it. And obviously everything's running through my head, how have I caught it, where's it come from? But obviously I've caught it, so I'm isolated for 10 days, trying my hardest to get rid of this. But I was just getting worse and worse, and I even put on Facebook, can anybody help me? I have a raffles group and that, and everybody on there, and I just messaged them, can anybody get me a hot water bottle? Because it was freezing, I was covered up, but I was sweating, my bed was wet, with sweat, and obviously I couldn't get up to change it or anything like that. It was horrible. Anyway, somebody they'd left me a hot water bottle outside my door, which really did help. But my sister rang me. I've got a twin sister called Babs, and she's also kept a diary on what happened to me, which was a good thing. Anyway, she said, Greg, you need to ring 111. So I did. I rang 111, and they answered the phone and obviously asked me a load of questions. And they asked me all these questions and they said, right, yes, you need an ambulance. So they said it's going to be 3 hours. So, because we're very, very busy. Right, okay. So I'm in bed and my phone goes about an hour later and it's the guy who's driving the ambulance. And he asked me a lot of questions about how I was feeling and everything like that. And he said to me, I don't think you need an ambulance, to be honest. So I said, all right. I said, I've got COVID. I said, I'm shivering, I'm shaking, I'm sweating and everything. He said, no, he said, I don't think you need one, you just got to isolate for the 10 days. So I said, well, you know best, and I left it at that. Anyway, the next day, I couldn't even get out of bed. It was terrible. Couldn't walk, shivering, sweating. So I rang 111 again, and again, asked me the same questions, put me through. And she said, yeah, you need an ambulance, which is going to be 4 hours to this day. So, right, okay, I've just got to wait. Anyway, about 20 minutes later, this ambulance guy rang me back and he asked me these questions. And I said, look, he said I didn't need one yesterday, but he said, this guy says, no, I think you do. He said, but there is a quicker way because it's going to be 4 hours. He said, there's a place in Hazel Grove, there's a walk-in centre. Well, it's not walking, you have to ring it up and make an appointment, but you have to go there. And you get tested out there by doctors. So he gave me the address and the phone number. This is the place. And as you see the tent, you could park 2 cars in there. When I got there was one already in it. When I rang up and made the appointment, she said, you know, you've got to park in this tent. If there's a car there, park in the tent, but wait. And I did. And this chap came out after about 10 minutes, got in his car and went. And then about 5 minutes later, this young girl come out in her early 20s. And she waved me. So I gets out of the car and I'm absolutely shivering. And my teeth were chattering. And she said, follow me, and that went up this. She said, it's the last door at the top on the left. So I goes into this room and this doctor's there, a female doctor. She's in her early 30s. And her eyes just opened when she seen me. And you could see the expression on her face, it was shocking. And she just said to this young girl, order an ambulance. She knew before she'd even touched me like and checked me over. So this girl's off ringing an ambulance. Anyway, this woman's testing me oxygen levels and my blood pressure and that. And then this girl come back and said, it's going to be half an hour. Anyway, this doctor said, no, it's not. She said, I need to speak to him. Within 5 minutes, there was an ambulance there. The ambulance guy came in, he was checking me over oxygen levels and everything. And he said to me, how have you got here? And I said, I've driven in my car, it's outside. So he said, you've driven? And he couldn't understand how I'd made it. I said, well, nobody's allowed to take me. I said, I've got COVID. So anyway, they whizzed me, he said, we're going to have to blue light you. It's only 2 minutes down the road. So they blue lighted me to the hospital, Stepping Hill Hospital in Stockport. And I gets there, straight into this check-in ward sort of thing, like A&E, but obviously for COVID people. And there was only me in there. Minutes, doctors were around me taking blood and everything like. Within half an hour, I was on a ward. And they put this, you know, the mask on where they have oxygen blowing into you, which you had that. Came the night time, they switched it for the thing that was up your nose, with 2 little things go up your nose, isn't they? And anyway, I slept some, not all night, because I usually sleep on my stomach anyway, but obviously with this oxygen thing in, I couldn't. But eventually I got too tired and I fell asleep. And the next day, they're checking me over, checking again, a few more bloods, and still got marks on my arms today. And this, oh blimey, it's now October. So, anyway, cutting a bit of a story short here, guy comes and sees me and he said he's from ICU and he was worried about the oxygen levels are dropping and dropping and dropping, and they were in the 80s I think at the time. He said, Greg, if they go any lower, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to come upstairs, which is the ICU unit, which, as you know, because I've just told you with the books, I ended up going upstairs. And they put me in this ICU unit and there was like, I think 7 or 8 other people, and every one of them was in a coma. And I think all of them but one were on the front, one was on his back. And they're getting me ready and they've got, you know, all these, attaching me to all these tubes and wires and everything. And they've got this like bigger tube going across my face, blowing oxygen into my nose, which was quite loud. It was like shh all the time. And here's a picture of it. And it wasn't very nice. It wasn't very nice to wear. And I couldn't get any sleep. And it wasn't doing me any good. So they put this little mask on me that just goes round here, but it sticks to your face. And I haven't got a picture of this, I didn't take a picture of it. And I had that on for the next day for about 6, 7, 8 hours, something like that. No good. To be honest, I kept telling them I wanted a drink of water because I wanted this mask off. It was horrible. I would rather have the tube one going across me so I could drink water. And then they put this, they call it a pilot's mask. I think it's called a sea cat mask. And it goes all the way around your face. And it sticks to your face. And it's just blowing warm air, warm oxygen in. And I'm sweating, and I've got puddles of sweat underneath here in this mask. And I've got my hand underneath it. And pulling it, just trying to get some cool air in. But then the alarms are going off because it's leaking. So anyway, the nurses come over and said, look, you know, what's happening? It's leaking. I said, I just want some cold. No, you can't do that. I said, I need a drink. I kept telling them I need a drink. I didn't need a drink. I just wanted this thing off my face. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Anyway, they didn't tell me they were going to put me out or sedate me. But they told my brother and my sister. My brother and my sister were ringing up every day. My brother would ring in the morning, my sister would ring at night, or vice versa. They told them that they were going to sedate me. This guy doctor came to see me, consultant came to see me, and he said, you know, about sedation and that. So I said, I need you to be honest with me. And I said, if I end up like these other people lay down in this room, so what are my chances of getting through this? So he says, you've got an 80% chance of getting through it now, and a 20% chance of not. This time last year, he said, it was the other way around. So you've got a lot better chance of getting through it. So, and he said, I'm going to be honest with you, Greg, he says, you're going to end up like these. He knew I was going to end up like them, but they have to try these other masks and that first. Anyway, I did. They put me out without me knowing. And that's where these are going to come in. I'm not going to bore you with them all now and read them all out. I'm just going to do different videos and let you listen to each day. And I'll just mark day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So stick with me if you want to know what's going on, because all I'm trying to do here is help people understand what's happening to your relatives or your friends or anything like that who are taken into hospital and they've got this terrible disease, this terrible virus, because it is a killer. Don't think if you get it, it's a death sentence, because it isn't, because I'm proof. I've come out. But I just want you to understand their side, what they're going to be going through. So stick with me on this, people, and you'll find out my side of the story through what the nurses have said and through what my sister's said, okay? So stick with me. If you want to watch the next video, please do. But please, please, if you've got any comments, stick them underneath and I'll answer anything truthfully, 100%. You want to know anything, but please make a comment underneath. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you hit that little grey bell, if you hit it, it'll be just a white bell. Hit the grey one and it'll notify you every time I post a new video. And then you can come along and watch the next one. But this is on the same channel as my YouTube, Keto Greg. So plenty of recipes if you want to look at them as well. But if you fancy looking at somebody who's had COVID and what they're going through, please, please watch away. See you all soon, everyone. Bye for now.